Alderman Orange.
Here.
Alderman Campbell.
Here.
Alderman Launch. Here. Alderman Bushman.
Yes.
We have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes for the previous meeting for July.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular legislative session of July the 9th, 2024.
Second.
Alderman Orange makes a motion to approve the July 9th, 2024 minutes. Alderman Campbell, second the motion. Alderman Orange.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Launch. Yes. Alderman Bushman. Approval of the July 9th, 2024 minutes has been approved. There are no utility adjustments.
I make a motion to approve July 2024 financials.
Alderman Orange makes a motion to approve the July 2024 financials. Alderman Campbell seconds the motion. Alderman Orange.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Launch. Yes. Alderman Bushman.
Yes.
July 2024 financials have been approved. Are there any public comments?
No, ma'am.
What's this code we want to change?
And that's, go ahead, Becky.
It's the one that you guys voted on.
3 days before, 3 days.
Except yeah,
Correct.
the day of, 3 before, 3 after. Okay.
I did not.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance change 2024-009 and ordinance of the Board of Alderman, City of Sparta, Missouri, amending section 210 or .205 of the City of Sparta Code.
We need to put it on.
Ordinance 202424-009, an ordinance of the Board of Alderman of the City of Sparta, Missouri, amending section 210.205 of the City of Sparta Code.
I make a motion for ordinance 2024-24-009 on the second and final reading.
Alderman Orange makes a motion to place ordinance 202424-009 on its second and final reading by title and description only. Alderman Bushman second the motion. Alderman Orange.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Launch. Yes. Alderman Bushman.
Yes.
Ordinance 202424-009, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Sparta, Missouri, amending section 210.205 of the City of Sparta Code.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-24-009.
I second.
Alderman Orange makes a motion to adopt ordinance 202424-009. Alderman Bushman second the motion. Alderman Orange.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Launch. Yes. Alderman Bushman.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-009 is adopted. There are no resolutions. We have the police department.
Guys are ripping through it tonight. You got a hot date or something going on. All right, I'll try to do the same. How about that?
Sounds good.
If you look at calls for service, we're down about 100 from this time last year. And then citations, down about half. We're at 47, the rest were 8. I think a lot of this is contributing to some of the construction that's going on up at Rogersville. Not that many traffics coming in and out of town, but I will say that out there watching the roads and for violations, a lot of people start into the city and they shut it down pretty quick. You know, I think we're getting a lot of compliance from a lot of people. That's what we want. We don't really want to have to write a lot of tickets, but I think the compliance is making a huge difference, and people are kind of respecting that end of it. Also, Officer Usher tallied up a lot of information and submitted application in for safe and sober schools. And in doing so, under the review, they won School of the Year for the state of Missouri by what she's doing within the schools. And we really wanted to compliment her for what she does in the schools. She does way more than just a normal school resource officer, to where she's actually teaching classes that most people don't get that opportunity. But Dr. Gray is allowing her to do a lot of things in the schools because of how she approaches things within the school, listens to the students, and is able to talk with them on a lot of levels, and all 3 schools actually. Another thing to talk about, I know we're going to probably re-emphasize it a little bit next month too, because it just happened last week, but our National Night Out, about 200 participants that showed up for the event. We had a lot of vendors calling, asking if they could come out as well, which was surprising, like Reliable Towing, for example. They really don't have a foothold in this side of the county, and they asked us if they could bring out some tow trucks to include their big boom truck. And kids kind of like that. They didn't get out quick enough. They were actually going to set up a swing thing and let the kids swing on the boom, but they didn't get that all set up in time. And I kind of thought it was going to be kind of neat. We were trying to have them lift up the fire truck and use it as a swing, but we didn't do that. And but the kids got a blast of squirting the water from the fire trucks at each other. There was several water fights, let's say. But no, it was a good time. A lot of different things, from, horse riding to live music, Coca-Cola, Blue Monkey was even out there, 2 bounce houses, and everything was all donated to us. The mayor even bought some ducks, which that was a big hit too. I actually saw a kid playing with one the other day in a car while I was talking to mom about driving a little fast. And all. But no, I really went over well. And I'm proud of Officer Usher for the amount of work that she does. We are blessed to have her in our agency and things. But, it's gotten bigger. I'm sure next year will be even better. In fact, we're supposed to be getting a National Guard helicopter, Black Hawk, but because of training and deployment issues, they weren't able to get it for us. But they said next year, but I'm sure if they don't come through, we're going to get one of the hospital helicopters as well. So already planning next year's moving forward and things. Another topic is there's been some inquiries about damage to one of our patrol cars. Yes, we did have a tree fall at my residence on top of a patrol car. It wasn't the trunk that hit it, it was more the top of the tree, but it did cause substantial damage to the patrol car. Obviously not planned. I was no more surprised than anybody else when I walked outside and saw this tree up against my patrol car.
It's like my brother's one away from the house.
75 feet from the house. It hit the house too. But I just want to put it to rest. I had permission by the chief to have the patrol car at the house. We had a lot of storms going through the areas, and it's definitely was not planned, believe me. I've taken steps since and spent about $1,000 to ensure that there's no other trees that will be falling in that area. And Toby with Top Limb was the one that came out and did it, but it took him 6 weeks to come out to drop a few more trees for me, so because they were even taller and definitely would have taken out some of the house and everything. Again, it was unavoidable, and I never would have fathomed, or I would not have put the patrol car at that section of the driveway and things. But I was just, do we have any questions about that? I think there's a couple of photos there. I'll answer any questions if you have about it. And I used my chain of command as soon as I saw the damage, notified chief notified the mayor, and then Becky was notified about it and got with the insurance company. We paid our deductible. There's going to be no raising of our rates or anything like that. It falls under the clause that it's one of those things that happen. So we did end up paying the deductible that was taken out of, I believe, our part and all. And then while the vehicle was being worked on, it sustained hail damage at the dent works where we were getting it fixed. So they fixed that $2,000 on their dime. And that's what's included in the bill as well, showing that they took care of $2,000. And then we've had another patrol car, the same storm that the mayor sustained damage to her fleet of vehicles. And that too has been taken care of and fixed as well. And this is Officer O'Malley's patrol car, but he was on duty that night of the damage. And he also sustained tremendous amount of damage to his own POV that was parked in the parking lot. And I've expressed to him that he needs to get under the awning, that we have a couple in town, as well as put his POV inside the building and things, so that he doesn't sustain damage to his own vehicle and ours. And like I said, we try to take care of our vehicles, we really do. But again, storms happen, and we use the proper chain of command, and we got the things repaired. And I'm driving it today and everything. So, like I said, if you've got any questions, I'll be more than happy to talk about it and things, but things happen. That's why we have insurance.
Exactly.
And no questions? All right then. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Gage?
So not much to update. We're still planning the Christmas parade. We'll have financials next month for you guys to approve. Also on today's agenda, we need a decision as far as fireworks contract with the IRO for next year's show. So you all can discuss that. And then Becky, I did bring up us potentially moving our meeting date to the second Monday. Everyone seems fine with that. It is in the ordinance that it's the first Monday, so I
Oh, I
believe,
can amend that.
Right, I believe you guys would have to amend that.
Yeah, we can.
So if that makes the financials easier, I think it
I
works.
think it was for you guys.
That's it.
What day is the Christmas parade on?
December 7th.
December 7th.
Is it going to be during the day?
It will be right at dusk. So tentatively starting the parade at 5:30.
I get phone calls, that's the reason I need to know. I get a lot of phone calls.
What time was it last year? Do you remember?
I believe it was 6.
6. Okay. So we're going to do it a little bit earlier, so maybe it's not
There'll
quite
be
so
a little
dark.
bit of light, but yeah, and everyone, they have lights on their floats, so trying to move it like into the daytime was kind of not gonna work
Right.
either. But yeah, again, there is a safety concern, people running around.
Yeah, it was definitely a safety concern, because I know, I actually believe Sergeant Blackburn worked the corner, and said that there was a lot of kids, you know, well, it wasn't just kids, everybody was kind of crowding to where they didn't have room to turn, so. Okay, well, that may work.
So we're trying to meet in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
One thing you probably need to try to start in even now is check with the schools and try to get some bands from some schools to come,
Yeah, that's a
you
good
know,
point.
if possible.
Yeah, if we could get some smaller towns, maybe Highland or Rogers.
I think as long, and I think every year, we've always waited too late to try to contact any of them. And it's like, well, no, we've already scheduled here or there or whatever, so you might try to reach out to some of them and see if you can get them, pin them down to come.
Yeah, that's a good.
I like to hear the bands and see them kids, getting in there and enjoy.
Absolutely, yeah, I was in marching band when I was in school, so I love going.
Thank you, Gage. Robert, would you like to give your report? So Robert's going to start updating us on everything that's kind of going on, new construction, everything going on with the building department. Kind of give us.
Said you took my speech.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're fine. We're just gonna incorporate this so you guys can stay in the loop with things, see how smart it's growing, because it is growing, so. I'm not gonna go through the list and read them all off to you, you guys have them, so if you have any questions about any of them, I can answer those or attempt to answer them.
Looks like got a lot going on.
A lot going on, yes, and lots more in preliminary stages, so. Alright, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think I
No,
have any.
hold on.
Yes, sir.
Your footings, what size are they?
I guess it varies. Most of them are at least 12 inches wide, or 12 inches deep, and 18 inches wide.
How much rebar's in them?
You like weight, or what exactly you want to know?
How much rebar's in them? Length?
So the outside walls will all have at least 2 sticks of, I think it's 1/2 inch. They have to run all the way down them. And then they also have to have rebar that sticks up out of them for the stem walls or the pony walls, whichever way they're
How
going.
tall are they?
Which?
The one that stands up out of the.
It depends on how tall the walls are. I mean, some of them are 38 inches, some of them 24 inches. It just depends on how tall the walls are.
How much clearance from the ground to the drop garters?
Without seeing my plans, I can't tell you exactly. Not 100%.
How much rebar's in the foundation itself?
What do you mean? I mean, you have it in the footers and in the walls, so it just depends on what style home you're building, and there's a lot of.
How far apart your uprights out of your footing?
Shoot, you're testing me. I'm not 100%. I'd have to go look. But each house has a plan that it's engineer drawn, so it all states exactly what everything is supposed to be. So I just compare what they have to their plans.
Have they got any rebar in the foundations that run lengthways?
Yes, Yes, sir.
How many men?
2 sticks on each outside wall. Any supporting wall has that requires a footer has at least 2 pieces of rebar in that footer.
They put pillars inside for the girders?
Yes, sir.
What size were they?
Like I said, I don't know 100%. I don't, without seeing my schematics and drawings, I don't know 100%. But like I said, the list is just kind of to inform you as what's going on. But,
That's it.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, there's no existing business. New business, discussion and approval for the Sparta Park Board to enter into a contract with AM Pyrotechnics and choose a payment plan. Gage, you want to give us a little bit of detail on that, just so that I kind of understand, but.
Yeah, so as you know, we've gone with AM Pyro for the last several years now. We've been happy with their work, and pricing is pretty reasonable. So we looked into a 3-year contract with them.
Will that help?
Yeah. Try to do it all forever. Yeah, so basically a 3-year contract just guarantees that they're not going to hike the price, but we do have to go with them for the next 3 years. Again, we pay each year individually. We wouldn't pay all 3 years up front. And so the payment plans they have listed there are just the different options that we have to pay them for those individual shows. We think that option A is going to be the most cost effective. It gives us the biggest discount. You can see the numbers there back.
So the park board has discussed it, option A is the one that you guys would prefer to go
Yes,
with?
that's what we-
That's what I was gonna ask, see which one.
Yeah, I figured I'd give you guys what they told us, but we kind of decided, hey, it would make sense.
I mean, a 20% discount's a pretty nice discount. Now, will they, I know that it says the discount is $2,900, so the display itself will be $11,600. But I know this past year, you guys took the discount, put it back into the display itself, so we still paid close to the $15,000. Is that what y'all are wanting to do again?
No, I don't think so.
So you're just wanting to take the discount?
We'll take the discount.
Okay. Instead of putting it back into product, okay. So over a 3-year period, it's almost a $6,000 discount.
They've always been great to work with, really no complaints on that.
Yeah, they seem fairly, and they seem to have everything pretty well organized. I know there's been a couple of years, there's been glitches, but that happens at any of them. Yeah, it can happen. But this past one was probably one of the best ones I've seen
It
in
was the
several
best
years.
one that I've seen.
Yeah, it was very nice.
The music synchronization.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. They were wanting to go with option A. So on option A, they get a 20% discount, which is roughly $2,900 a year over a 3-year period, so close to a $6,000 discount. So instead of us paying almost $14,500, we're going to pay the $11,600. And then we just have to sign the contract. Mhm. Yeah, we just make a motion.
I make a motion, we, vote, on option A, 75% deposit. What all we need to,
You can just say option A since it's kind of spelled out for us.
that'll work.
I'll select that.
Alderman Campbell makes a motion to approve option A for the Sparta Park Board to enter into a contract with AM Pyrotechnics and choose a payment plan. Alderman Bushman second the motion. Alderman Orge?
Yes.
Alderman Campbell?
Yes.
Alderman Marsh?
Yes.
Alderman Bushman?
Yes.
The Sparta Park Board has been approved to enter into contract with AM Pyrotechnics with option A.
Did you approve a 3-year contract, or do we need to do a separate vote for that?
3-year contract, correct.
Okay. Yeah. Just want to make that clear. Not doing 1 year,
Right.
but, okay.
Yeah, we have all the details, so it says with 3-year contract. Yeah,
Okay.
so we have that.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Gage.
Don't you told that. It's in my book.
What's that?
Okay, so the next is discussion and approval of the James River Basin Partnership voluntary opportunity to participate in trading nitrogen credits. And we have some gentlemen here tonight that will kind of explain that to us and answer any questions that we may have.
Hello, my name is Brent Stock. I'm the Executive Director of the James River Basin Partnership. You guys may be familiar with us. We're a nonprofit organization. We're out of Springfield, but we work throughout Southwest Missouri in about 8 counties. So we focus on improving water quality in the James River watershed. That includes the Findlay and Flat Creek down in Berry County as well. So one project we've been working on lately is nutrient trading. So I'm going to buzz through that real quick and give you a brief overview of that and talk about ways that Sparta may want to get involved. One thing you guys may or may not be familiar with is the total maximum daily load was set in 2001 for the James River that was established by the Department of Natural Resources. Basically, it talks about how many nutrients can make their way down into Table Rock Lake. That is monitored in Galena, and Sparta is part of this TMDL. So there's different phases to the TMDL. Phase 1 kicked off back in 2001, and that focused on removing phosphorus, mainly through treatment plant upgrades. So our communities in the James River watershed that are affected by these TMDL, they actually had early action and early adaptation of some of these practices. So we've really done a number on phosphorus removal in the watershed, doing great there. So as you can see, a pretty significant drop came when we had improvements of wastewater treatment facilities. Phase 2 focused on non-point source pollution, so that's stormwater runoff essentially, and some of the nutrient effects that we see from that for both urban and agricultural areas of the watershed. Right now we're on phase 3 of the TMDL. You may or may not have seen some information come out about nitrogen recently with wastewater treatment plants, but that's what this focuses on. It sets a target goal of 1.5 milligrams per liter at Galena. So that's from all point and non-point sources. Currently, we have not, as a watershed, been below that 1.5 milligrams per liter threshold. So the goal is to get down below that. Overall, the goal of reducing nutrients going into Table Rock Lake is to prevent harmful algae blooms and things from occurring. That's harmful for tourism, it's harmful for wildlife, harmful for people. So the 1.5 milligrams per liter is what's been spelled out in the TMDL. We've seen nitrogen increase in the James River since the 90s. In late fall of 2022, DNR published a new nitrogen permitting framework. All the communities, there's 12 wastewater treatment plants within the watershed that this applies to. That information's been made available to the communities, and they held a number of stakeholder meetings in the fall of 22 to kind of implement this new program. Here's a map of the 12 wastewater treatment plants that fall within this TMDL. All these plants have greater than 100,000 gallons per day design flow, so Sparta falls within that. Overall, these plants contribute over 99% of the total nitrogen point source loads. So coming directly from treatment plants, that doesn't count for the runoff-based nitrogen. So with this new framework, there's different options for compliance. Essentially, you can choose to install technology at your wastewater treatment plants. You can purchase nitrogen credits. That's where the nutrient trading comes into play. Or you can take a hybrid approach where you can do a little bit of both. There's a schedule of compliance. The big year here is 2028. That's when communities have to choose how they want to go about complying with this new nitrogen limit that they have imposed upon them. But it's a 12-year compliance within 12 years, but 2028 is when communities need to choose which of those 3 options they're going to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and buzz through this, but I'm going to turn it over to Tim Smith. Tim Smith's a contract employee that's been working with JRPP on this. He's been working to collectively organize the communities and host stakeholder meetings and kind of work on helping everybody organize or understand the framework and get more organized so that everybody can work together in this program.
Thanks, man. So if you remember that first slide in the boat going around making the figure 8 in the housing, that was the James River Army table rock plate 25 years ago. And that doesn't exist now, thanks to phosphorus reduction. Our problems with algae now are mainly due to nitrogen. And so that's why they're focusing on nitrogen now. And like Brent said, there are 12 treatment facilities in the James River watershed that discharge 100,000 gallons a day or more, and Sparta is one of those. And if you look at, let's see, is this got a point? This column over here tells you, and there's Sparta, how many pounds of nitrogen you can discharge a year to be within your permit. So you're allowed to discharge something like almost 6,100 pounds. And the way they get that number is you have an amount of flow that your treatment plant is designed for, which for you guys is 200,000 gallons a day. And DNR has established a limit as far as concentration of 10 milligrams per liter. So the numbers in this chart, are there any questions about that so far? Are there any questions about that so far? The reason DNR was interested in establishing this trading framework is to give communities like you more options. So we know from the business that nitrogen removal is expensive. And when they say they're going to permit nitrogen trading, they're going to look at these 12 treatment plants as a group. And as a group, they can discharge so many pounds of nitrogen per year altogether. So as we go into the future here, some communities, particularly Springfield, is going to be spending a lot of money on this, and they may come in at less than their requirement. If they do, they will have credits to sell. So if it comes down to you and you say, well, we're over and we're 4,000 pounds over, so we need to either improve our treatment plant process to get that out, or we can purchase credits from someone. Which Ozark and Nixa are feeling they're going to have credits available too. So Britt told you there were 3 options that you need to select one of by 2028. And my strong advice is that you choose the third one to keep your options open. Whether you can either just do it with treatment plant improvements, or you can purchase credits, or you can do a little bit of both. That way you've got room to operate when 2028 comes about. The way they've got this worded though, once 2028 passes and you've chosen, you've chosen. That's what you're going to do.
So there is no fluctuating after you.
That's what they say. 2028 is the year.
What
So,
was the wastewater plant improvements entail?
okay. Nitrogen removal involves a bunch of equipment you're going to have to put in. So I'm not really capable of telling you in detail what it is, but I know from discussing it with the people in Springfield that they are very concerned at how much money they're going to spend several $millions on nitrogen. So it's kind of a big deal coming in the pipe. Your treatment plant is much smaller. It may not impact you to that degree, but your cost of nitrogen removal could run from $50,000 to a couple $100,000. That's very rough. It's a significant amount of money. So when you're talking about, I'm going to go on to, let me show you what's going on with that now. Yeah, there we go. So one of the things we've done with the communities here is to try to say, well, where is everybody right now? Your treatment plant operator submits data to DNR every month on what your discharges are, on a whole bunch of parameters. And so we looked at 2023, because those are done on an annual year basis. And here in this chart, let me see if my pointer will work. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I see. Okay, so if you go over there to the left side, those blue columns, Brent, that was your actual flow in millions of gallons a day in 2023. And if you look at Sparta, you're at about 90,000. So you're only at 45% of your design flow. That's good. You're way under what your design flow is. But if you go over to your concentration, you're at 332% of that 10 milligrams a liter that you're allowed to have. But it's the product of those two things that get you over to your allowable nitrogen. So you could be under your design flow, over your concentration, and still meet. If you look, though, Sparta, based on the numbers for DNR, is the only treatment plant of the 12 that is over right now. You're about 3,000 pounds over. Now, I want to make sure in looking at this number, this isn't pointing fingers, and this has nothing to do with how your treatment plant is operating. It's just the way the numbers are reported. So you at this point are going to be looking at, well, first DNR is going to come to you and say you need to optimize your plant. What does that mean? They're going to work with your operator and say, what's everything you can improve with the equipment you have right now to bring that number down. And most plants have some latitude in doing it. So the next year will be optimization. And that's why we need to be in contact with the treatment plant operator and get him within the technical committee group working.
Now, quick question, when were these numbers ran? I mean, how, because we've had a lot of, and I have no idea if it has anything to do with what,
It'll have something.
because we, there's been a lot of improvements already within the last 12 months.
Okay.
So I didn't know when these numbers.
It may
might-
reflect some, you're supposed to be submitting your numbers every month, and this is all your numbers through last December. So it won't be anything in 2024.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised to hear what you're saying, because that tells me your operator is doing his optimization right now.
Yes.
So these numbers could change.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, is kind of when these were through,
Yeah.
to kind of give us an idea.
We just got clear from DNR
Mm-hmm.
over the things that have been broken and not fixed for years.
Right.
We just got
Those are the
clear.
kind of things they're at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are all, we are totally up to date on everything.
Yeah, you can make your biggest gains for the least amount of money on that type of stuff.
Right.
If you look at everybody right now as a group, we're 293,000 pounds under as a group. The way they're managing this is it will be looked at as a group as long as everybody has chosen that third option.
Gotcha.
If you choose to be on your own, that's your number.
Will they,
Nice.
will they run numbers again? Are they gonna stay with this 2020?
No, this will be every year. Every year, you're going
Okay.
to turn in your flows. Your obligation on that is, every year by March the 28th, you have to turn in your numbers for the previous year. Then that becomes your number for that year.
Okay.
Okay, the next year, you make improvements or not, you submit those numbers.
Okay.
So when we're talking about buying credits, let's say that this is the number for this year and you're 2,777 pounds over.
Right.
And you've elected this hybrid option where you can purchase credits. Well, you may not be able to do that this year. You may want to think about purchasing credits and say that Springfield or Nixa has credits to sell. What would that cost you? Our back of the napkin discussions so far are not a lot. The communities are still discussing that, but they're going to come together and they're going to decide probably mutually what credits are worth. So for example, it doesn't do them any good to charge $500 or $1,000 a credit. It doesn't do you any good because you're going to do a treatment plant improvement. So it's looking, this is just my opinion, but it's looking to me like we're gonna be somewhere between $10 and $100 credit after they figure this all out. The way credits will work is, these communities who are participating as a group can all agree to charge the same thing, or that say if you're buying from Ozark, it can just be between you and Ozark.
Okay.
You know, you can enter into your own agreement. That's why we've got this standing technical committee of treatment plant operators from all the communities. And it's been one of the good things that has come out of this is they've really been engaged in this, particularly Ozark and Nixon. There's a lot of expertise there. They want to keep this technical community committee talking, trading ideas, what are they going to do? And I think that's a really good thing. We're heading toward, in October, we're going to bring in an out-of-town consultant that's approved by DNR, whose specialty is treatment plant optimization. And he's going to come in and put on a couple one-day seminars for the operators. And we'll be able to, for your operator to get operator credits with DNR, so we're trying to make that.
And this may be kind of getting down in the weeds a little bit too much, but say that we had credits and somebody else needed to purchase them. Do we have to sell them, or can we keep our credits? And then what if you're over one year, under the next? Will your credits wash out?
That does get a little complicated.
And if you don't have an answer, that's fine.
No, I do.
Nothing that's
right. I just don't want to make it more complicated. So there's your answer right there.
Okay.
So you got two things. One is, and this comes back to non-point and point source pollution. So if you look at that treatment plant B, that POTW is publicly owned treatment. There you go. Now that shows. So if you just follow me through this example, their allowable mass loading, this is just in theory.
Okay.
They can discharge 100,000 pounds a year. Okay, but the next number down, based on what their actuals were this year, they've got 98,000 is what they actually discharged.
Right.
But they also did a non-point source pollution project that generated 2,000 credits.
Okay.
What's a non-point pollution project? You could go, this gives you more variety. You could go out and do stream bait stabilization on the James River, and that's worth nitrogen credits if you can. So, and Springfield's intending to do a bunch of that. So the way they have you account for that, they go, well, you were at 2,000 under with just your flow. You had another 2,000 from your project. So they're going to adjust you down to 96,000 pounds. Okay, well, you've got 4,000 credits for sale because 1 pound of nitrogen is 1 credit.
Okay.
All right, so how long do those last? The first number, the first 2,000 from your discharge that year is only that year. You have to read. Next year, it washes out every year. It's what you are each year.
For that credit.
Right.
Okay.
For that first 2,000. Second 2,000.
That's for the treatment plant.
For the
Yeah.
treatment
Those are only
plant.
good for the year that they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second number from your non-point project is those last 2 years. You can use those this year and next year.
Okay.
So does that make sense? That's just the way they've got it arranged. Okay, so if you're you're the seller in that bottom example, the purchaser up there at the top example. Okay, let's say that they could discharge 30,000, but they ended up at 32. They purchased 2,000 credits, then that adjusts them back to 30,000, and it's all considered okay.
Yes, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it all just has to wash out once they do the so that's kind of what's up in a nutshell. The reason we want to get down here and talk to you, I think this is a good opportunity for you. You definitely need to be aware of it. And we definitely want to be talking with your treatment plant operator, not to tell you how to run your plant, just to say, here's what everybody's talking about.
Well, knowledge is everything. If you don't know,
Yeah.
you don't know that there's areas that have to be improved.
Yeah.
So,
And
the more
like
he
I
knows,
say,
the better.
the people that have been participating so far, I'm really happy with the amount of engagement we got. The spirit is they want to help everyone. And that's really encouraging. Any other questions? 2028, 2035, those are your
I got
years.
those years.
Okay, thank you all very much.
2028 to be here before we go into sure.
Please call us if you get any questions.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. So what do we actually make a motion?
Yeah.
Huh?
At this point, I don't think.
Yeah, we don't need to make a
There's no action needed for us,
No, there's,
and everything here is volunteer. Here's copies of what we just showed you. Yeah.
thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
About 2028, so we don't have something we can put on. Because I kind of like for them to talk to Don and then us have a talk with Don. Yeah.
And try to get connections made.
Yeah, because if Don can talk to them, then maybe Don can come in. I would probably would push it off. I would like to do it by first of next year, just so we can get it done, make a
Right,
decision.
yeah.
But if we can get Don to come in and kind of saying, okay, these are the things that I talked about that we can do, first off. And then, but I'm really hoping after we get to the 20. Do you know when the 2024 numbers would be available for us, just to kind of see what we look like?
It'll be at the end of the
Well,
year,
January.
but your treatment plan operator, he's sending numbers in every month.
Right.
So he can probably tell you
He could
through
probably tell us.
July right now what
Okay.
it's looking like.
Robert helps, so he said they're nodding.
I have a question. If your actual usage goes up, will your allowable nitrogen go up as well?
No, I forgot to
Because
touch on
you
that.
are growing,
Oh.
so that will grow.
I really should have touched on that. The whole ball game here is everybody's growing.
Right.
And some communities are growing very rapidly. The fastest growing two of the 12 are Rogersville and Cleveland. So the presumption has always been, even though your design flows for everybody's under right now, as your population grows, your amount of wastewater discharge is going to come up. Depending on what you do, it's not just a straight line, and it's not just say if I got 10 more people that I add them to this,
Right.
because chances are, I don't know if you're doing it in your system, but Springfield has spent like, several hundreds of $1,000s on lining sewer lines so they don't have inflow, from stormwater, because that really ups their flows.
Okay.
So if you're doing things like that knock your flow down, okay, you can grow and still knock it down. So it's going to depend on really what you've got going on.
Okay. So it's not based on the population as much as it is on what it's actually designed for and what it's capable
Yeah,
of
how
doing.
what you're doing to limit your flow, but if you're growing really fast, you can only do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know what your rate of growth is down here. It sounded from your building permit.
Yeah, we're growing.
You're growing pretty well.
Yeah, over the next year, we're hoping to have about 70 more houses, 70 to 80.
Yeah, and in a community this size, that's pretty robust. Yeah,
Pretty nice.
which is good.
Oh, we love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
We definitely need it. Well, thank you again.
you bet.
Thank you, Robert, for that little bit of input. Okay, so we will just pass on this one, since we don't have to make a decision tonight. I'm trying to find my- Okay, the next thing on is, Alderman Campbell had contacted me, a couple days ago and was just kind of talking that if we were to get over at the event center and the bidding started and the bidding came in a little bit less than the 250,000 that we get agreed on, he thought it might be smart for us to approve, for me to make the, decision on taking a little bit less, if it make, a reasonable low offer. We can't lose money on the building, obviously. But instead of us having to tell the person, we'll get back with you, or calling a special meeting just to approve, you know, if something were to come up at, you know, even 245 or 240,000, are we willing to sell for the 5,000 less or 10,000 less? I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that when it starts, it'll just increase, and we'll get a little bit more than what we actually paid for it. But he thought it might be a good idea for,
Yeah, I think it is too. I haven't seen that thing advertised anywhere, nothing. They can see it all over online. It's coming pretty soon.
On the internet.
Yeah, I haven't seen nothing at all.
He's got it on there.
yeah. The only
I mean,
place,
I can't pull it up.
yeah. The only place I've seen it is his actual website.
Yeah, see, that's terrible.
So, yeah, Jeff actually pointed that out to me. He was looking for it the other day. So, but I do know that there are some people interested, just kind of word of mouth and people talking. So I'm hoping that we have a few bidders, to come out and hopefully take that off our hands.
He just had some people that came, forget, he told me who they were, but anyway, and he brought them up and looked at it a couple of hours ago, and the only question they had was the electric bill, and I got to Becky to get that, how much it runs per month. That was the only question really had, but I called Roger later to see what he said and thought about it, and he said he was very interested, so
Okay,
that's a good thing there.
well, very good. So if y'all trust me to make a financial decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, I make a
Y'all have a lot
motion,
of faith in me.
I make a motion to approve or to allow the mayor to accept a reasonable lower bid than what we had set, at the day of the auction, which is Saturday.
I'll second.
How much less?
That's what I'm saying. There, I mean, you know, if it came in at 347,000 or 345, we can't take a massive loss. So if they come in at
You mean
three,
200?
You mean
Yeah,
200,
sorry,
not 300?
Yeah,
wishful
that's good,
thinking,
though.
wishful thinking. No, but if it were to come in at 230,000, it would be a no. Because, I mean, that's between the 20,000 that we would take, or 25,000 that we would take on the loss of the building, and then the 15,000 on the air conditioning. I mean, we just can't take that kind of loss. So it would have to be very reasonable, and not a lot lower.
Well, in my opinion, I trust you enough to, not just say, look, I mean, you got a bid of $220,000, you wouldn't let it go.
No, we couldn't let it go for that.
I know that, but anything close to what I was suggesting.
I just have to have that approval, because if somebody were to come in even at 248, and we set it at 250, I don't have the authority,
Right.
because you guys haven't given me that authority to take a little bit less. Like I said, I'm hopeful that it'll go for more than that, but
You can also tell the auctioneer, say, listen, I've got a reserve on this thing, this, it's only a couple of remaining persons.
Yeah.
But, of course, if that didn't work, say, all right.
since it's not an absolute sale, I've already talked to Roger. Even if they were to, let's just say you guys said no and they bid $249,000, we don't have to sell it. If I feel like, this is not the right, choice, we can back out of it, and the only thing we owe him is for advertisement.
Which obviously he's not doing.
What he normally does on that is, and most of them do, but when they get the last bid and they can't get any more, they're really close, he'll take you to the side and talk to you and ask you what, and you'll come back. And they'll usually open the bid back up and say, okay, it's gonna sell. If you wanna buy, you need to get in your bid on it. A lot of times, there'll be a couple or two get in there and bid it on up a bit more. So let's just hope and pray that it goes what it needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Alderman Campbell makes a motion to approve the mayor to accept a reasonable lower bid for the auction of the Sparta Event Center building, August 17th,
How much is his percentage for selling?
3.
3%.
3%.
Yeah, he normally gets way more than that,
Well, yeah, they're 6 or 7%, that's what they normally get.
but, well, he did it, of course, for the city.
So how much would that be on $250,000? Where's your calculator
I hope advertising is included in that 3%.
It is.
Well, they say plus that.
at? 18,000.
Yeah, it's 7,500. No.
That's what I got.
Is that what you came up with, 7,500? Yeah.
3% of 300,000 would be $6,000.
It'd be 9,000.
Well, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, you're fine. So it'd be 7,500.
didn't have my calculator turned on.
Wrong setting.
But I had still multiply.
Hey, that's all right. All right, Alderman Bushman, second the motion. Alderman Orange.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Losh. Yes. Alderman Bushman.
Yes.
Approval for the mayor to accept a reasonable lower bid for the auction of the Sparta Event Center building is approved. Okay, discussion and approval for the 2023-2024 audit to reflect actuals.
There's not
There's not any.
any. No, this is just something you have to do.
This is just we approve and then they
Yeah.
get us
they-
the audit together.
Then they they move the numbers where they need to be for our audit purposes.
I make a motion to approve the 23-24 audit to reflect actuals.
I'll second it.
Alderman Campbell makes a motion to approve the 2023-2024 audit to reflect actuals. Alderman Orge, second the motion. Alderman Orge.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Losh. Yes. Alderman Bushman. The 2023-2024 audit to reflect actuals is approved. There is no closed session. Any miscellaneous business?
I wanted to ask, what happened to this lady over here who's opening the place in Rossville? Nothing, I mean, there's nothing. I thought I saw a sale sign.
She does have it up for sale. The last time I talked to her, it's still kind of up in the air on what she wanted to do. She thought possibly use furniture store. One morning at the market, we sat there and watched her unload a whole bunch of furniture. I'm assuming that's where the auction is coming from, that she's having an auction, an estate sale on Saturday, the same day as our auction.
Really, I didn't know that.
So there's an estate sale, so
It was supposed to be a market thing, right?
She was gonna-
Astronomical prices for that, for what she was wanting to
yes,
do.
so she was gonna do that, and that's kind of taking a back seat too. She even put up, so I don't know if y'all have been to the backside, but she's put up a couple awnings
Yeah.
and
moved them
two
and took one down.
or three storage sheds. So she has, there's minimal parking on the backside, maybe 10 spots left. So I'm not really sure. She, she'll message and reach out from time to time, but nothing definite, so.
I was seeing it on Facebook and stuff that it was gonna open this day, and kept showing, what the prices were for all that different stuff.
Yeah.
And nothing, people were
Yeah.
asking when it opened.
Well, it's really hard to ask those kind of prices in the smaller towns like this for somebody to set up, because it really is kind of hit or miss.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Alderman Orange makes a motion to adjourn. Alderman Bushman, second motion. Alderman Orange.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell.
Yes.
Alderman Losh. Yes. Alderman Bushman.
Yes.
August 13th, 2024, regular Board of Alderman meeting closes at 7 o'clock.